In this absolute beginner friendly tutorial, let me show you a step-by-step pattern of making this mobile cover, which can also be used as a sling bag. So let's get started. Hey guys, welcome to DIY Crafts. For this project, I am using 4-ply medium worsted weight acrylic yarn and a 4mm crochet hook. Now let us begin by making a slip knot. Take the starting end in your left hand, make a knot around your finger, and now from the center of the loop, insert your needle and make a knot as shown in the video. So that's the slip knot. Now put your needle at the front and thread at the back. Start making the foundation chain. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So this chain 12 acts as a foundation chain. You can adjust this chain length depending upon the length of your mobile. Now make one extra chain. Make sure the foundation chain is in a multiple of 2 and then make one extra chain. Now leave one chain from the hook and into the next chain make one single crochet stitch. Now to mark the beginning of the first stitch, put the stitch marker into this first single crochet stitch. Now continue to make single crochet stitch across the row. So that's the second single stitch we are doing. So how to do a single stitch? We will insert the needle into the stitch, drop a loop. Now you will have 2 loops on the hook. Take the yarn and come out of both the loops. That's the single stitch. And now continue to make single stitches. So that's the 4th one, then the 5th one. We should not leave any chains, just continue to make one single crochet stitch in each and every chain. That's the 6th single stitch, then the 7th one, 8, 9, 10, 11 and the last one in the last chain, 12. So this completes one side of our project. Now we will turn our work to the other side of the foundation chain. Now you will have 2 loops on the other side. So identify the bottom loops and insert the needle into both the loops at a time. If you wish, you can include the tail end while working. If it is getting confused, leave the tail end and only insert the needle into the back loops of the chain. So on the other side also you will have 12 single stitches. So insert the needle into the back loops of the foundation chain, drop a loop and make a single stitch. So that's the second single stitch on the other side of your chain. So that's 1 and this one is the 2. So identify the next stitch where you have to put your needle. So that's the 3rd single stitch. So as I said, you can leave your tail end if it is getting confused for you. Now continue to make single crochet stitches throughout the back loops of the chain and put a count while making it so you will not get confused and the count will not get disturbed. So just one single stitch in each and every stitch. Do not leave any stitch and at the same time do not make any extra stitches in any chain. So once you have done with all the stitches, so this is how the base line or the first line will look like for making the base of a mobile pouch. Now we have done the last 12th single crochet stitch. This completes your first row. Now to close this first row, we are going to make a slip stitch onto the top of the first single stitch. So for this, remove the stitch marker where we have put the stitch marker on the first stitch. Put your needle in there and make a slip stitch. So insert your needle and grab the yarn, come out of both the loops and that makes your slip stitch. Now let's start making the second row. Begin with chain 3. So let's consider this chain 3 as the first double crochet stitch in your second row. So for this identification, put your stitch marker. So that's your first double crochet stitch in the first stitch. Now make chain 1 to give the gap in between the double crochet stitches. So that's the first stitch. As we already have a double stitch, the chain 3 which acts as a first double stitch. skip one more chain. So just observe carefully that chain 3 is in the first stitch. Now skip the second stitch and into the third chain, into the third stitch we are making a double crochet stitch. So yarn over, insert and drop a loop and then make a double stitch. So this gives you a chain 1 gap in between the chain 3 and the first double stitch. And again for the next chain 1 gap, make another chain, leave the next stitch and then make a double crochet stitch. So begin with a yarn over, insert the needle into the stitch, drop a loop. So that's 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, draw the yarn through first 2 loops and then the yarn through the next 2 loops. So here it gives you the next double stitch with a chain 1 gap. And now we are going to repeat this pattern of double crochet stitch, chain 1, skip 1 stitch and then 1 more double crochet stitch in the next stitch throughout the row. So that's 1 double stitch, make chain 1, then skip 1 stitch and into the next stitch make 1 more double crochet stitch. So drop a loop, 3 loops on the hook, draw through first 2 and then draw through the next 2. Again chain 1, skip 1 stitch, yarn over, insert the needle into the stitch and drop a loop, first 2 loops and then the second 2 loops. That's how you do the double crochet stitch. And now repeat this, skip 1 chain and into the next chain make a double stitch. If you want you can put a count, but as we have made a foundation chain in even number, it shouldn't be a big problem. While creating the pattern it should be easy. Like after making the last double stitch you will be left with only 1 chain if you have done it with a good correct count. Again the next double crochet stitch, again chain 1. So this gives you the other side of the mobile pouch, the back side. However the front and back side looks the same. It's your call with which side to call it as a front and which side to call it as a back side. And now we are going to repeat this one throughout the row, throughout the pattern. This pattern remains the same for every alternative row. So this one is the row 2 pattern. That's double crochet stitch, chain 1, skip 1 stitch and into the next stitch make 1 double stitch. And once we have done, we have only 1 stitch remaining, and if you see that's the slip stitch. So we don't want to make 1 double stitch in that slip stitch, so ignore that stitch. So now after completing the second row, if you count the number of double crochet stitches, you will get 12 double stitches with 12 chain 1 gaps in between them. That's 1 2 3 4 5 and that's the 6th stitch, 7 8 9 10 11 and the first chain 3 is the 12th one. So if you get the same number of double crochet stitches as in the foundation chain, then your work is going in a correct way. Now remove your stitch marker and on the top of the first double crochet stitch we are going to make a slip stitch. Here the first double stitch will be the chain 3 where we have kept the stitch marker. So remove the stitch marker, insert your needle into the top third chain and then make a slip stitch. So this gives you the second row. Now you can stop your work here and weave in the tail end at the starting part. So insert your tail end into the tapestry needle, weave in the tail end across few stitches in your first row for a couple of times or through couple of stitches, and once the tail end is nicely hidden you can then trim the excess thread close to the project. So this ensures the project is safe and secure even after frequent usages. And once it's done, flip it again to the original shape. And now let's continue by starting the third row. So here we are going to repeat the pattern of the first row. as the pattern repeats for every alternative row. So the third row is similar to the first row. We are going to make one single crochet stitch on the top of each and every stitch. It may be a chain one space or it may be a double crochet stitch, as we are making the first stitch over the first double stitch, that is chain 3, and the next single stitch goes into the chain 1 gap, and now the next single stitch on the top of the double stitch. Now the next single stitch into the chain 1 gap, and then this pattern keeps on repeating. Basically we are making one single stitch on the top of double stitch and in the chain 1, again a double stitch and in the chain 1 space. I think you guys got it. Now we are going to repeat this throughout the row. So by the end of the third row you will have 24 single crochet stitches. Just put a count, as we are making one single stitch on DC and one single stitch into the chain 1 space. And the previous row we have 12 DCs and 12 chain 1 spaces, which will sum up to have a 24 single crochet stitches in your third row. Now here I am making the last single crochet stitch into the last chain 1 space in your third row. So this completes the third row with 24 single stitches. So to close this row we are going to make a slip stitch onto the top of the first stitch. As you see, you will have a continuous single crochet stitches. Now gently remove your stitch marker, and now into the top of the first single stitch make a slip stitch. This gives you a little stiffness to your project, as we are alternating double crochet stitches and single crochet stitches for every rows. Now the row 4 pattern will be the same as a row 2 pattern. So again we are going to begin with chain 3 and then put a stitch marker on the third chain. If you are able to identify the third chain in your chain 3, then no need to put, and then make chain 1. Now skip one stitch, and into the next stitch make one double crochet stitch. This double crochet stitch will be on the top of the previous double crochet stitch, if you notice carefully. Now the chain 1, for the chain 1 gap, again skip the next stitch, and into the later stitch we will make a double crochet stitch. Now make chain 1 for the chain 1 gap, skip one stitch, again into the next stitch make one double crochet stitch, and this pattern keeps on repeating throughout the row until you reach the starting stitch. Now here we have completed the last double crochet stitch. Once again check for the count, 6 DCs on one side and 6 DCs on the other side. Now remove the stitch marker and make a slip stitch into the third chain of the first chain 3. Now this completes your fourth row. Now we'll start making the fifth row. Now the fifth row will be the same as in your third row. So begin with one single crochet stitch, and if you wish to put, you can put a stitch marker on the top of the first stitch to mark the beginning of the fifth row. And now the next single crochet stitch goes into the chain 1 space. Again the next single stitch on the top of a double crochet stitch, and again the next single stitch into the chain 1 space, and repeat this throughout the row until you reach the starting point. And again for this row also you will have a total of 24 single crochet stitches. Now I am going to make a last single crochet stitch, and this completes your row 5. Now remove the stitch marker, and then let's make the slip stitch on the top of the first stitch. And here we have completed the mobile cover for up to 2 inches. And now we are going to repeat the pattern of row 2 and row 3 until you have the desired height of your project. Just begin with chain 3 for row 6. We are going to repeat the pattern of row 2 for row 6, and row 7 we will repeat the pattern of row 5 or row 3, and then keep on going until you have the desired height of your pouch. Just remember to stop your work until you have 1 inch to the required height, as we are going to add the border for the pouch. Now that I have worked a couple of rows until the required height, and this is exactly 1 inch needed to meet the height of my project. Here I am making the last required row with single crochet stitches, just like the row 3. Repeat this pattern throughout the row until you reach the starting point for this row. And for this next row, instead of making the double crochet stitches, we will continue to make single crochet stitches with the same count in each and every stitch. That means in this row we'll have 24 single crochet stitches, which means the next row will also have 24 single crochet stitches. So this will give a nice border for the pouch, which will be stiff and easy to handle the pouch. So this completes your second row, and chain 1, and you will begin the third row. For this border, again the third row will also have single crochet stitches. So this one you can customize how many ever you wanted, but here I am planning to add a button on the front side. So for that I am going to add the loop on the back side. So just make few stitches that could be the half. Here I am making 6 single crochet stitches, and then I'm going to make chain that is required to hold the button in shape, I mean in place and all. So for that I'm making some chain 10 or chain 12 depending upon the size of the button. If it's a small button, you can make chain 10. If it is a big show button, you have to make around 12 or 15 chains to meet the requirement. And now into the next stitch we'll continue to make a single crochet stitch. So this will give you a nice loop on the back side of the cover. Then continue to make single crochet stitches throughout the row, the remaining single stitches, until you reach the starting point. So once the last row is completed, make a slip stitch, and here you have to decide whether you wanted to make it as a mobile cover or as a sling pouch. So to make it as a sling pouch, we have to add a strap to it. So here the green color one is made it as a mobile cover, so that's the reason I have not added any handle to it. And for the pink pouch I am planning to make it as a sling bag, so for which I am going to add the chain for it. So as I wanted to make it a thin strap of the chain, I am just making a foundation chain, nothing else. This foundation chain can be up to 100 chains or 120 chains, or it can also be a small wrist bag with 20 chains. That depends upon your requirement. So here I have made a couple of stitches up to I think 120 chains, and then identify the stitch where you have to attach it on the other side of your project. So I am attaching it on the opposite side. For the wrist bag, you can make a slip stitch into the same stitch where you have started your chain. So here I am making a slip stitch on the opposite side, then make chain 1, and then you can trim the excess thread by leaving a small tail end, which we have to use it to hide the tail end. Now using a tapestry needle, we are going to weave in this tail end into the next few stitches, and then we will trim the excess thread. Now let's add a button to it. So for this I am using a nice show button which I already had with me. Now to attach this button on the pouch, I am taking a small amount of yarn, and with the help of a tapestry needle I am going to attach it in the second row as shown in the video. Just put the button on the mobile cover, and now draw the yarn through the buttonhole and then attach it. Now secure it for a couple more times to make sure the button is secured properly in its position. And once the sewing is done, secure the button by making the knot at the back side of button, and now weave in the tail ends of both the ends, like the starting end and the ending tail end of this yarn, and then trim the excess thread close to the project. Repeat the same on the other tail end as well, and this completes your mobile cover. I hope you all enjoyed watching this tutorial. Do give this pattern a try and let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. The written pattern for this mobile pouch is given in the description. Do check it out. See you all in the next video. Thank you for watching. Please like the video, share it and subscribe to DIY Crafts.